Hi, Taylor T. Carlson, and I'm back with yet another video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my all-time favorite films which just hit the 4K format, Top Gun. If you're not familiar with me at all, this is the movie I have seen more times than any other movie. Whenever it comes on TV, I'm quoting it religiously, often to the point that my parents will change the channel because I annoy them so badly with it. It's got some of the best looking aviation footage ever captured on film, and it's the movie that made Tom Cruise one of the biggest stars in the world. But 30 plus years later, how does Top Gun measure up? And how does it look on 4K? Top Gun was the highest grossing film of 1986. It's said that it increased the recruitment number of people who wanted to be naval aviators by 500%. It was also one in a long string of successful collaborations for producer partners Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, who had previously helmed Flashdance and Beverly Hills Cop. Up until Don Simpson's death in 1996, they collaborated on several projects, and even Bruckheimer has continued to go on to have a very successful career with movies that include the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise as well as the Bad Boys movies. Top Gun stars Tom Cruise, who plays naval aviator Pete Mitchell, better known by his call sign Maverick. He's the son of an aviator who disappeared under mysterious circumstances during his military service years earlier, and he's a very skilled pilot, but unfortunately his reckless flying style and violation of numerous policies over the years have earned him the ire of many of his fellow pilots as well as commanding officers. His partner in the cockpit is Nick Bradshaw, known by his call sign Goose, who's a family man with a wife and young son. He has a more conservative personality than the more reckless Maverick, but despite this, the two are best friends and practically inseparable. When one of the top pilots drops out following an experience that leaves him shaken, Maverick and Goose are sent to the Top Gun Fighter Weapons School in Miramar, California to learn the lost art of dogfighting, joining the top 1% of all aviators in the Navy, gaining even greater skills that they can put to use. Maverick immediately finds a rival in Tom Kazansky, Iceman, as well as several of the other pilots there, and it's not long before the competition gets pretty fierce and Maverick has to learn that working together as a team is a lot more important than being an independent, skilled aviator. And over time, he develops a relationship with an astrophysicist contractor played by Kelly McGillis, and he ends up facing a tragedy of his own that leaves him shaken into whether or not he's going to have a future with the Navy. I'm not going to say that Top Gun is the deepest film ever made. I'm not going to say that it's the greatest film ever made. But if you were looking for one movie that encapsulated the 1980s perfectly in a single film, that movie would be Top Gun. The soundtrack, the score, the fashions, the aviation footage, pretty much everything 1980s comes together perfectly here. There's even a young, relatively unknown at the time, Meg Ryan, who stars as Goose's wife in a minor role. The cast also includes James Tolkan as a superior officer, who you probably remember from the Back to the Future movies as Principal Strickland. The plot here is really a pretty basic hero's journey about having to overcome obstacles and ultimately rise to face a challenge despite the fears within, with Maverick becoming something more than himself, becoming part of a team, and doing what's necessary to save the day. If you're watching this review, you've probably seen the movie, probably countless times. I know I have. I've been watching this movie since I was a toddler, and it remains a personal favorite, and my appreciation for it has only increased over the years. Other highlights include the soundtrack, which of course includes tracks like Berlin's classic love anthem, Take My Breath Away, and Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone. There's also the instrumental Top Gun anthem, which was composed by Harold Faltermeyer, who scored the film, with guitar work from Steve Stevens, who's best known for his work playing for Billy Idol. I actually went to a Billy Idol concert last year, and during Steve Stevens' guitar solo, he even played part of the Top Gun anthem. Definitely the highlight of the evening for me. Because the production had the cooperation of the United States Navy, they were able to get real air footage Everything that you see in this movie was actually filmed in the air with real planes, and that's why it holds up so great all these years later. There are a handful of shots where they used models, but the work is seamless, and because there's no CG, nothing sticks out like a sore thumb or looks fake or artificial. I showed you the packaging at the beginning of this review. There's also a Steelbook release on the way, which will be a Best Buy exclusive in the United States, but that was pushed back due to a production snafu. Apparently, they put an F-15 on the cover rather than an F-14, which is the kind of plane that Maverick flies in the movie. The cover art, honestly, I'm not thrilled with. I don't know why they didn't just go with the classic artwork of Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis from the poster, because that image was perfect, and it would have made for the ideal cover art here. Even if they would have had a reversible sleeve that had the original poster, I would have appreciated that greatly. But if you're watching this review, you're probably wondering, how does Top Gun look in 4K? And the answer is, it looks really damn good. The old Blu-ray release was a huge disappointment because it used noise reduction, artificial sharpening, color boosting. They used all the shortcut tricks of the day, like back before people really knew what they wanted from their high-def transfers of movies. That transfer was reissued multiple times over the years, and it never really got a proper 4K master until now. For the first time on a home video format, Top Gun actually looks like it was shot on film. The level of detail in the image is really impressive. I could actually read little details on radar panels and patches on uniforms that I've never been able to read before in any previous version of the movie. So I'm picking out all kinds of details that I had never been able to detect due to the limitations of older formats. It's definitely the most natural looking transfer that Top Gun has ever had. The color palette's a little warmer and it looks like film. If the older Blu-ray transfer was ranked as Slider, you stink, this is definitely you can be my wingman anytime. The included Blu-ray disc is also sourced from the 4K master. All of the images from the movie you're seeing in this review were actually taken from that Blu-ray disc, which again was sourced from the 4K master. Unfortunately, I don't have the software to do captures of 4K, so that's the best I can do, but I think they're a pretty good indication that this is a pretty substantial improvement over any previous Blu-ray disc release of the film. Even the audio gets an upgrade. I don't have external speakers. I'm just watching this through my TV speakers, and a lot of things are much more audible, including dialogue and sound effects. Even one locker room scene that has a song playing very faintly in the background is actually quite a bit more detectable here. You've really got to see and hear it in action in order to appreciate this transfer and audio mix. As a longtime fan, I know I did. And what about bonus features? In addition to this brand new transfer, which looks absolutely incredible, we get two new featurettes, which are featured right on the 4K disc, but they also appear on the Blu-ray disc as well. There's a brief fluff piece, which is really more like reminiscing and promo for the new movie. And there's also a 30-minute or so featurette with Tom Cruise flashing back to his experiences making the movie. Some of this will sound familiar to a lot of people who have seen older bonus features before, but we do get a fresh perspective, and it's mainly from Tom Cruise's perspective, although these new featurettes do have some appearances from Jerry Bruckheimer as well. The 4K disc also includes the commentary track that was originally made for the old special edition DVD, featuring several of the cast and crew as well as naval experts. The included Blu-ray, like I said, includes a brand new transfer that's sourced from the 4K master, downscaled to 1080p, and then it's also got, in addition to the same two new featurettes, all of the vintage ones as well from the older disc, with a few minor exceptions we'll get to later. The biggest highlight of this being the 5-part documentary, Danger Zone, The Making of Top Gun. That's about an hour longer than the film itself, covering pretty much every single aspect of production that you can possibly think of. A few minor complaints with this release, aside from the cover art. First of all, there were some still photographs that were included in one of the older DVD releases, which do include some shots from a deleted scene, and I would like to have seen those here. Another issue I have is they do not include the original theatrical trailer, although the 1080p Blu-ray does have a few of the old TV spots. For some reason, none of the releases on home video have included the actual trailer. The last issue I have is that they did not include from the old VHS tape the old Diet Pepsi fighter pilot themed commercial. For some reason, they've never put that on any of the Blu-ray discs or DVDs or anything after that. I'm guessing that's probably a legal issue. And ironically, you can actually see a Coke machine in the final movie in the briefing before the final battle. So, go figure. I love Top Gun, and I will definitely be first in line to go see the sequel, Top Gun Maverick, when it comes to theaters this December, all things considered. This release is the release that Top Gun has deserved all these years. I'm glad to finally get a release of Top Gun that actually looks like it was shot on film. It has a faithful remaster with no unwanted tinkering. It's just been given the proper treatment, and it looks absolutely incredible. Have you seen Top Gun before and have you had a chance to check it out in 4K? What did you think of the movie? How do you like this transfer? Comment down below and let me know what you think about anything you've heard in this review, including the movie itself as well as the technical aspects. Subscribe to my channel and please like this video. I'm Taylor T. Carlson, and I will see you in my next review.